Hey, hello everyone. No one's moderating, so we're all waiting for someone to say something.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'll say something. For, First of all, welcome to Ben for joining us today, and
Hello, everybody.
thanks to everyone in the community that's here. We're gonna pretty much free flow today, actually. And later on we'll take some questions. So I think Aman is on the line to actually check in on questions and so forth as well. But Ben, today's kind of going to be a bit more about you. Our community has heard about us all the time and CryptoKnights and Rightstream and so forth. So I'd love to kind of hear your story a little bit and the journey that you guys have done, and let's take it from there.
Absolutely. Well, where should we begin? I suppose I'll kind of, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben Kurland. I'm the CEO of DYOR.com. That's actually one of our big updates as well. So I'll get into that. Was DYOR, now it's DYOR.com. And my journey in crypto is...
You bought the domain. That's cool.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a good story behind that too. I'm excited to share.
All right, I love stories.
We'll get into that momentarily, but I've been in the space since 2016. I started working on a project that was actually a fork of Litecoin. For those of you who are familiar with,
oh yeah, of course,
project Charlie Lee's old OG project, but that was a token that was based on trying to generate mining revenue and allow it to be used for donations for scientific research. So we provided grant money to fund Alzheimer's research, cancer, a number of great causes. And that project ended up being a top 15 by market cap in the 2017 bull run. So it was an enormous...
I remember it well. I remember buying some as well. So
yeah. So that was a very fun project to work on, and then had been advising in the space for a number of years and worked on a number of different, smaller projects and upstarts and things like that. And through that experience, we started recognizing that a lot of the legacy platforms in the space were really lacking innovation. They had stagnated. They had gotten this groundswell of users because there was really no competition whatsoever. Things like market cap and other data and analytics providers. And as a result of essentially capturing the entire market, there was very little incentive for them to try to innovate, to try to try to have any sort of level of transparency or fairness to how they were dealing with their community. And we had heard from a lot of the people in the Web3 community that they were frustrated by this. And we were one of those people, just having had to kind of deal with all the gatekeeping that was involved. When you're starting a project, for those of you who might not be familiar with this, but there's kind of a playbook that you have to go by, in which you have to get your project listed on certain platforms, so that there's visibility to them and all of this stuff, and it can be very expensive. And we didn't think that these builders should have to pay to play. We felt that this was more of a service to the end users, and we thought that there was more than enough money to be generated from ad revenue in a similar business model of, say, Facebook, for example, or Instagram, social media platforms. We just fundamentally thought that the business model was broken, which is, charge across the line every which way you can, gouge these projects and take advantage of them as well. And it's kind of happening across the board. And so that was the genesis of a small idea, which ended up growing into what is now DoYourOwnResearch.com.
So this kind of started in 2018. Is that right? Thereabouts, or?
Well, I started my journey in 2016. This platform really started taking off in 2023. So
okay.
It was a period of kind of quiet capitulation in the markets. It was these are the best opportunities for builders to ideate and to start creating and building things. It's very difficult during bull markets to try to compete against, it's basically just a race to try to get things out there. And so we wanted to do this in quiet. We wanted to do this during a period of time in which we could really take a moment to really reflect on the most essential things that we wanted to construct foundationally, because the interesting thing here is, a lot of the other platforms, they can't really, at scale and on completion, they can't really compete against what we've built. And the reason why is because the modularity and the flexibility that we build is kind of at the core of the foundation of what we've constructed. Whereas if you look at some of our competitors' websites, they have to kind of like squeeze things into places to try to fit things together. Otherwise, they would have to start from scratch, which I don't think they have very much desire to do. So, it really started to come together in 2023, and then things kicked into high gear at the beginning of last year, I would say, and we've just been nonstop developing ever since.
And the platform is live now, is that right, Ben?
Yeah, it's live. You can go to DYOR.com and go check it out. It's really been a team effort as far as getting everything together. But what the end result that you'll see going there now is something that is really beautiful in design. It's sleek, it's easy to use, and there's a lot of features that you just won't see anywhere else, mostly because we're cutting into our bottom line in order to make sure that the business model makes sense. It's fair, because we're builders ourselves. We didn't want to, we're a part of this community. We didn't want to have something that was continuously taking advantage of the people that are basically like our extended family.
So Ben, maybe let's kind of break down a little bit. If I'm a builder, right, I've got this amazing new project that I'm launching. At what point do I start my journey with DYOR? And what is that process, and how does DYOR help me along the different stages?
So you'd really do it right from the get-go. There's token pages, and there's a back end, and this is kind of unique to us, right? So the way that it worked prior to us going live, is that you would go to these other listing websites. You can think of it like a Bloomberg terminal if you're a Web 2 person. But like in crypto, everybody's kind of familiar with these, DEX tools, DEX screen. Yeah. There are ways to visualize what's going on with the token, the charting, trading history, some of the information, such as the website, what have you. The way that goes about getting updated and populated is that you have to submit information. You have to pay them hundreds or even thousands of dollars.
So it's very expensive.
It's prohibitive for, especially if you're a smaller project. And we wanted to be able to support smaller builders in the space, because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the space. Not everything has to be like the next Google or the next Facebook. Innovation happens in all shapes and sizes. And so we created a backend dashboard, and you can claim your token page for free using your deployer wallet. If you don't want to use your deployer wallet, there is a manual verification process, but in our case, it costs $50. And the reason why it costs $50 is just basically to prevent spoofing and spamming. It's just some small barrier of entry just to make sure that.
Well, that's extremely reasonable compared to everything else, right?
Precisely, yeah. What you get for that is an amazing backend dashboard that allows you to take full control over your token page, meaning you can update things in real time, everything from your banner ad to your website to your socials. And then we took it a step further, actually, because we thought, what if we could consolidate everything and have it live in one place? So we developed this update that allows you as the builder to seamlessly integrate your Telegram chats, your Twitter feed, YouTube videos. And so all of that can now live on your token page. So if I'm researching a token, I don't have to go 15 different places any longer. So it's a great benefit to the builders because they're able to have this be an extension of their brand, their marketing, their own website, in fact. And for the users that are looking for this information, this is a one-stop shop for them. They are able to research and look at all of the information about a particular project, provided straight from the source, in fact, and they don't have to go anywhere to do it. So it's a real game changer for those that are constantly, for example, joining up a bunch of telegrams and then having to go through the gate checks on those, and then they forget that they're even in them, and they get inundated with messages, and their telegram becomes this, large trash pile of things that they try to research. They no longer have to do that. In this way, it's really a step change in terms of how people are going to go about learning more information about projects that they're interested in.
So this is brilliant. It's like if I'm a community member following the project, then all I have to do is go to DYOR and I'll learn everything about the project, right? Doesn't matter where they exist in Telegram or YouTube, etc. And it's just one-stop shop. Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And again, curated by the builders themselves. So you're getting the information straight from the source. This isn't, a third-party aggregation. This is, this is the builders, putting their best foot forward and trying to make the case for, what's valuable about what they've built. There is obviously some, neutral information, such as the actual data itself, right? Because that can't and shouldn't be tampered with. And so all of our algorithms, we have proprietary algorithms to decide, for example, what's trending and what's not trending. What's interesting about our competitors is that that's also pay to play, right? You can get boosted up on the other ones. You can't get boosted up on ours. We're going to have a dedicated page for that because, we think that there's value in, kind of like trying to compete against other projects. And I think there's a bit of like a flex element of like, oh, this project, must be very well capitalized because they were able to, their way up to the top. All of that is great, and it's in the spirit of competitiveness and hype and all the rest of it. We just want to make it clear what's what to the end user. We don't want to, we don't want people to get scammed thinking that something is, genuinely organic. Sourced and trending and all of that versus something that's been bought and paid for. So we just want that information to be in the hands of the end users as it should be.
I guess we should configure the right stream page on DYOR.com then, because we haven't done it yet.
Absolutely. And then you can share with
people.
Why
didn't you ask? Why didn't you like us? Hey guys,
I think it's on an action item for tomorrow then. In that case.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. I think to me the biggest takeaway was I guess you're competing against tech schools, right?
Yeah, that's our main competitor, but we're more of a retail play, and that's what's interesting about us. I think there's more expansiveness, and this is one of the great benefits of having been on CryptoKnights. And I can't stress this enough. So one of the big acquisitions that we had, and I already kind of hinted at it anyway, was that we secured the rights to DYOR.com. It's a 4-letter .com website. For those of you who
what's the story? I want to hear the story, dude.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting story. Obviously, incredibly hard to acquire a 4-letter .com website in 2025. We found that the guy who owned it, his last name was DYOR, DYOR. He owned it for many, many years, and turns out Matt is his name. Turns out Matt is a senior software engineer. He works at Google, and he's had a 25-year career working for Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. And after a lengthy discussion with him, multiple discussions, and sharing our vision with him, he was really inspired by what we were building and what we were trying to do within the space. He had a general curiosity about crypto, and I think it was just kind of a win-win for everybody. We could do something really good and interesting with the platform. He believes in the vision of what we're trying to do in terms of evening the playing field and transparency and bringing some good things into the space. And that sort of shared passion got us into a position where he said, yeah, let's do this. So he's actually one of our advisors now, and he's working with us. He's helping us to kind of source ideas. He's been incredibly beneficial in terms of, we're building certain things that are, in different languages like Kotlin and others that are sort of Google Universe native. And, I think we were asking him one time, hey, we're really struggling, with building out this one component, and it's something to do with Google. And he goes, oh, that team is right next door to me. I'll just go talk to them. So there's some pretty amazing.
So you're saying a guy called DYOR who had a domain called DYOR.com, gave it to DYOR, and now is working as an advisor for DYOR.
You got it.
Love it.
Amazing story. It's, one of those things that.
How did you manage to find the guy? I'm curious.
That's really just boils down to passion. We're relentless in our pursuit of all the things that can possibly benefit this mission that we're on. And it was a bit of a process to track him down, but once we did, we were very excited to have that conversation with him and see what he was open.
Hey, I'm sure our community would like to learn a bit more about your token and utility and so forth as well. Do you want to share some thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So the token is really, native to the ecosystem. It supports it in a myriad of ways. I think the thing that's going to be most exciting and attractive for folks is that we basically figured out a way to allow users to benefit from using the platform. And so it's a, in a rewards type of way. So if you stake our token using the protocol that's on our website on DYOR.com, and you participate in any particular revenue generating event throughout the month, that could be bidding on ads on the platform. And we haven't really talked about that, but that's, part of our mission towards fairness and equality is that instead of obfuscating the pricing of ads on the website, we actually allow people to bid for ad space, kind of like eBay. So we've created this whole on-chain auction system that's really cool, and it allows people to see in real time, what the true value of the ad space is, and they can bid on all of those slots. And in that way, as a business, you can prepare for things as well, as opposed to kind of crossing your fingers. Hey, we really need this date to advertise and get the word out about some event that we're doing or the launch of our token or what have you. You can actually plan these things out like a real professional business for the first time in the history of what.
Amazing.
Surprising it took this long, but it's an opportunity for those users that believe in what we're doing, believe in what we're building, to get direct benefit in the form of USDC rewards. So, through the revenue that's generated, we're able to give some of that back to stake token holders that are participating actively in the revenue generating process.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So they stake the DYOR token and they get USDC rewards.
That's correct. Yeah. So
okay.
we had to work some magic in that regard to make sure that it was compliant and still a utility token. But because
I had some questions around that.
Because you're actively participating in the revenue generation yourself through
because you're bidding for
because we also have our own native swap, and I can get into that as well. But if you bid on ads, or if you trade on the platform, if you do anything that's producing revenue for the platform, then you're not relying on the efforts of others, which is part of the Howey test. You're actively participating in revenue generation. So that's why we're able to kind of give that back. It's almost like a rebate, in fact, but really beneficial to those holding the token and participating in the activities of the ecosystem itself.
All right. Anyway, I think people really want to get into CryptoKnights and DYOR, and also Riaz, they want to talk about the upcoming announcements, the Dubai thing, and when the show will drop. But first, I think, Ben, tell us, how was the experience of CryptoKnights filming it, getting there, going through the whole process? You're no stranger to this, right?
Yeah, I've had some on-camera experience prior to this. I was an actor for many years, and so this was not my first foray on camera. I think
I'm the one guy who watched that movie you were in.
What's that?
I was the one guy who watched the movie you're in. The Black.
You're the guy. Okay, great. You got me my 10 cents. The Artist.
The Artist.
The Artist, yeah.
I watched it. I liked it. It was pretty good, you know.
I actually, I've watched it as well, and I like the movie. Good. But two people, there you go.
It's a
there
really
might be
good
more
movie.
out there.
You guys should watch it.
Yeah.
The Artist. It's really, really good. It's really interesting.
I'll put a disclaimer on it for those of you who don't know what this is. It's a silent black and white movie. My favorite story about this was that there was a theater in Ireland, and about 10 or 20 minutes into the movie, the entire audience walked out and demanded a refund because they said
black and white silent, huh? Yeah. But
it's a work of art.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because the journey was really quite gut-wrenching for the main protagonist, from what I remember.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story, well told, terrific cast. Honored to be a part of it. It was a really amazing experience. And CryptoKnights was also an amazing experience. The production value is, again, no stranger to this. I've worked on a number of movies in my former career, and top-notch team. Really amazing team of filmmakers, and what you guys were able to create in such a short period of time was nothing short of amazing. I mean,
thank you.
And how hard it is to put sets together and source people and fly people out and locations and all of the rest of it. It is an enormous undertaking, and you guys pulled it off, and it's a credit to you. It's a credit to the whole team. And for those of you who are going to watch this show, next month, it's an excellent show. There's lots of wonderful moments at it. They did a great job of creating a lot of good, sort of binge-worthy moments, I call them, and really just a joy to work on.
Thanks, man. That's really good to hear. I've been creating content for well over 20 years now, and every show is its own unique thing, even though you've done it so many different times, and I'm extremely proud of how this has turned out. It's like I have, of course, watched every episode many times and in post-production, and the show is looking amazing, and I can't wait for our community and the audiences around the globe to watch it. And I think that's the point that Joseph was alluding to. So it's literally around the corner, guys. It's next month, and we're having a little bit of a launch party. Is that right? In a couple of weeks' time in Dubai.
Yes, we are. We will be having a party there to promote the show on the 28th of April. We will let the community know. We're going to put it out live on Luma. Okay, so we'll let you guys know. And I know a lot of you have reached out to me and saying, when's the party? Can I come? Of course you can come. You're part of our community. So we're going to announce that tomorrow. We've got it all set up. Okay, it's going to be really interesting. We've got an amazing agenda, amazing venue. It's called Lit. Really premium location, and we'll have a camera crew there as well. And lots of interesting things. We'll have an exclusive sneak peek of certain things. We're doing the cuts right now. Okay, so we'll drop the Luna link, I think, by tomorrow. All right, and you guys can register. I think it's going to be over-registered, but that's okay. Just try to come anyway if you can. Right?
So we'll end up having about 10,000 people then. Is that right, Joseph?
We're targeting, just shy of that, you know how these events are, right? You really have to kind of overdo it, right? Because people come and go. This is what crypto is like, right? There are 200
Yeah.
events happening in a day, so it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But we'll have the nights there. We'll have all kinds of interesting things going on, and the announcement for the streaming platform will be just a few days before that. Okay, we're trying to do an exclusive with a publication. I can't name what it is right now. We're still talking to them. Um, and that's again to build up the hype for the show, and we'll have various press and journalists coming as well. Um, we're trying to talk to a lot of journalists to come, for the event. So that's going to be big for us. A combination of Web2 and Web3 journalists. So, and I think at the same time, we have locked down a date for the release of the show. But there's a caveat there because Riaz, you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, that's the process. I mean, for those, I think majority of people don't understand how this industry works. So typically what ends up happening is once we deliver a show to the network, then from that point on, it goes through the internal processes to QC it, and that can take a few weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, typically 4 weeks. But then the actual date when it drops is entirely up to the network. So we have rough guidelines in terms of exactly what date it's going to drop, but then the network determines when it's right in their calendar typically. So we have a little bit of control, but not a lot, and then you're in the hands of the streaming gods at that point. So they have indicative dates, which but the final date is entirely up to the network.
And I'm going to be the usual pain in the ass, and I'm going to say, no, we're going to target.
No, it's definitely May. It's a question of what date in May. But
yeah.
So.
I would love to time it with Bitcoin Vegas. I think that will be perfect. Okay, but what Riaz is saying, it really depends on the network and really when locking up. But we keep shouting Bitcoin Vegas, end of May. That's perfect. And the rest of the disruptors also need to know, right? Because they're going to plan their campaigns and promotions around it. They need lead time as well. So we understand. And of course, the whole community also wants to know. But you guys, like what Riaz is saying, we're just one cog in the wheel in this. We really have to respect what the networks and the other stakeholders are saying. All we can do is keep nagging like what I do, like just knocking on a certain date. And I don't face them, Riaz faces them, so I can be annoying as hell, but it's okay.
Hey, Joseph, we have talked about doing some sneak peeks, right, for our NFT holders. So
we're figuring it out, right? I think because we're figuring it out. I want to do something over there at Vegas, and maybe we'll see what we can do on RightStream Plus as well. Got to look through all the terms and conditions and stuff like that. So we'll see how it works. Okay.
I'll make sure to give you guys a shout out. I'm actually going to be speaking at that conference.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah.
Are you on a panel or a keynote?
We're still working out the details. A very good friend of mine is the head of events for these conferences.
Oh, that's handy.
We really should. We should work together, Ben. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We should work together. Of course, if you need defense, we can lock down that date.
Absolutely. We're very close with the Bitcoin team, and we'd be happy to help you guys out. Segues me into another topic of conversation. Just kind of give some couple of additional updates here as well from our side. One of the biggest things that we have been doing is just procuring a number of different partnerships, and the biggest one to date for us was that we partnered with one of the biggest blockchains in all of crypto. We have an amazing relationship with the Ava Labs team. So Avalanche is one of our biggest partners now. They've been incredibly supportive. We did an Avalanche takeover with all the biggest projects on Avalanche.
Nice.
We did a bunch of series of AMAs with all of their founders and creators, talking about all the great benefits of this kind of shift in how business is done in Web3. And that was a very cool experience to get to kind of share the stage with all of them. And there's going to be a lot more coming as far as that partnership is concerned. We're kind of just getting things going with them, but tremendous group of guys, and really poised, I think, to be one of the biggest players in all of Web3. Their technology is incredible. The team is amazing. With all the U.S.-based crypto initiatives, I think that they stand in a field of their own as far as layer one solutions. So it's going to be exciting to see where the future takes them. But I think people are going to be amazed at what they're able to accomplish in the next 2 to 4 years.
But what does that mean to DYOR? What does it mean for DYOR, right? That partnership.
I can't really go into a lot of the details because we're still kind of working in secret with them, I would say. But it means a lot of support in a number of different ways.
You just need to say it's going to be huge. That's it.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Yes, I've got a framework here of some questions. You want me to go through that? You got something you want to say?
No. I think we can take questions unless Ben has anything more to add. But
I've got a couple of other things just as far as a couple quick updates.
Please.
And so one thing I wanted to share with everybody who's listening is that we launched a bounty program, and it's allowing our community to help make the platform better and enhance all the features that we have on it. We're taking tons of feedback right now just to try to make this product as good as it can be. And the bounty program is really essential in that because we want to incentivize people in the right way. And then the other big kind of exciting thing is that we just released a Telegram bot. It's called DYOR bot, and meant to replace a bunch of the different bots on Telegram, but mostly Rick bot, if anybody's familiar with that. It's basically like a scanner that allows you to plug in a contract address, and it'll quickly spit out all the information about that particular token. So, quickly like the market cap, the percentage up or down, a lot of the kind of like vital information that you need on the fly as a trader. And then it also has a buy function. So for those groups that have buy bots in their channels to indicate when somebody's purchased their token, ours is a version of that on steroids, and all of the premium features of all of the competitors in the space you will get absolutely for free. So I highly encourage you to add that to your channels. It's absolutely free across the board. All of the premium features that you're paying for now, stop paying for them. Get it all for free instead.
Brilliant. I love it. I will do that after this call. Beautiful. Ben, thank you so much. That's fantastic. Great to learn more about DYOR. I'm sure our community has got some questions. Joseph, do you have any questions you want to shoot?
I have one. I have this one here. Like, what was the most memorable experience during filming of CryptoKnights? Anything interesting to share specifically?
Gosh, there's so many great moments from that week. Really, just like I said, a joy to shoot. I think for me, it was mostly just the downtime. It was just getting to meet all of the other contestants was really amazing. People are building some really cool and interesting and amazing stuff in the space, and that's the best part is recognizing that there's really this spirit of cooperation and collaboration in the space rather than competitiveness. And I think all of us who went there, we weren't seeing it as competing against each other so much as supporting each other. And that was really kind of a beautiful thing.
All right. Okay. I'm looking for questions now for the community. I think most of it is really centered around the show, around the event, around the release. when the big announcements are coming up, any ecosystem updates on the right stream side. Oh, yeah. Let me see if there's any.
I guess I explained everything about
There's
DYOR.
one. Yeah, I think we covered everything already.
Yeah.
There's one from Casey saying, "Hey Ben, are you staking any right tokens?"
Am I staking any right tokens?
Yeah.
I don't tend to talk about. I have to be a little bit agnostic when it comes to financial advice. The CEO of a company that's literally called "Do Your Own Research." I can't really. Let's just say, if there's a lot of stuff going on with the project, it's likely that it's a good opportunity to get some tokens that have something to do with the project. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Very nicely answered.
Okay.
Not financial advice. Do your own research.
But I have to mention, right, guys, the staking thing we're doing right now, if you stake, you don't just get the APYs and right tokens, you get the token drops of the project on the show, right? So that's one of the benefits of being with RightStream. I just want to plug it out there. Okay, we're going to have more promotions around this about our staking campaigns leading up to
Hey,
will DYOR be up? Sorry? I'm frozen.
Joseph, you froze for a second.
Okay. I said I've got more questions from the community here. Okay. Would you recommend other crypto startups to participate in shows like CryptoKnights? Why or why not?
Absolutely. Look, this is still, everybody's heard of crypto at this point, right? I think the cat is out of the bag, but it's still a new industry. And there's still lots of opportunity for people that are building really cool and interesting things in the space to have an opportunity to compete in the space, because it's still, in that regard, early days. And the more opportunity that we have to shine a spotlight on these innovators, these creators, it's amazing opportunity for them. It's a great boon for our industry in general, and anything that is going to drive innovation and the exploration of advancing this technology, I'm here to support. And shows like CryptoKnights are doing their part to try to create greater awareness for these projects that otherwise wouldn't get the type of spotlight and exposure that CryptoKnights affords them.
Cool. Anyway, the questions are coming in thick and fast now. I've got one more here. A few more, actually. What's DYOR's opinion on meme coins? Can they be researched with the same metrics as utility tokens? Do you list any meme coins on your DYOR platform?
We list all the meme coins. We list, in fact, we list every single coin. There's 8 million points of data that are coming through every minute of every hour of every day on our website. It's a enormous amount of data. And
so back to the question, right? What's DYOR's opinion on meme coins? Can they be researched with the same metrics as utility tokens, and how does it connect to DYOR platform?
Yeah, I mean, look, when looking at anything of value, you're going to evaluate it using the same kind of tools and concepts, right? What type of traction do they have? What's their value proposition? How professional is the team? Can I learn anything about the team? Or are they these group of mystery folks, right? Like all of these questions you want answered, whether it's a meme token, a utility token, a big layer 1 blockchain, or anything in between. So our website is best served actually for smaller cap tokens. And one of our big cases for why we're so valuable and so unique is that, I'll say it kind of plainly. If something's listed on Coinbase, you're already too late. You haven't gotten in early. And so really, if you want to get in early on something, you have to do the research and figure out what's what. And tools like what we built on DYOR.com are a tremendous way of figuring out what's what and trying to suss out, the good things from the bad things. And, we're doing our part as well to try to make sure that, we're avoiding scams and rug pulls and things like that. So we have built-in consumer protections. It's one of our biggest selling points of our platform. So if you tried to purchase something, if you were using our swap that's native to our website, we built our own native DEX and aggregator on our website, and it runs simulations in tandem with the trade execution itself. And if it detects something funky in the contract, it will prevent the trade from even going through. And so these things are kind of essential.
That's very cool.
Space, yeah. It's everybody likes to think that this should be a free for all, and about no intervention and interference. I agree to a point. And I think that point really is that you still need to protect people, even from themselves. Sometimes you need to have, common sense guardrails up to protect those that don't know what they're doing, and, to help them avoid those common pitfalls. And so that's what we've designed. And we've taken extra layers to give out badges for those that want to KYC with us. It's not a requirement, but it's, certainly encouraged to try to create more trust and confidence in your project to the broader community. So these are the different ways that we're kind of promoting greater exposure to those that want to be a bit more transparent. And I think it will eventually be a really good way to suss out what's real from what's not real. And it's not to say, meme coins are a bit of a gamble, but I think they become a little bit more fair and balanced of a gamble when you eliminate the obvious scams and rug pulls and bad actors in the space from the equation.
Hey, I have a question on that, Ben. With the memes, you got to catch them pretty early. So how soon do you guys list them on DYOR?
Instantly. So as soon as liquidity is added, as soon as trading begins, it will exist.
It'll appear.
Yeah, instantly.
Okay. So no one has to go to DEX tools or anything else to. Yeah,
nope.
They just come
They
to
can
DYOR.
just come to us. Everything you're doing on DEX tools or DEX Screener, you can do on our platform. If you set up an account, we have all kinds of amazing other features like reminders and things like that. And the accounts are free, unlike our competitors that, again, nickel and diming every which way that they can. We don't do that. That's not our business model. Our business model is to be a true free service to the community, and we make our money on ad sales, plain and simple.
Okay.
It's a brilliant model. I don't know why people wouldn't use this. Why anybody would use anything else? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think we're really poised to make a big difference in the space, and we're thrilled to just continue to onboard people into the community. Come have a conversation with us. Hop into our Telegram. Join the conversation. We always say we're approachable. We're approachable builders, and we're approachable, leaders of this movement that we're creating. Try doing that with our competitors. Good luck getting them on a call or an AMA or anything. They're too busy counting their millions that you're all paying them. So stop paying them the money and join the revolution is what I say.
Ben, I've got two questions around the data. You said you got tons of data points that you keep getting from all the projects. So two questions about that. One is, do you plan to use AI to try to make sense of that data, to give people deeper insights, or using your tool? And from this, do you see any undervalued sectors like AI, DeepIn, RWA, L2s, anything undervalued based on the data that you're getting?
So yeah, we are absolutely going to be integrating AI. It's it's going to be a moving target a bit. The thing about AI, good and bad, is that it is language learning models. So it gets better the more it's used. So as we're collecting more data and more people are using it, it's going to get smarter and smarter. So on the onset of it, it's probably, being completely frank, it's probably not going to be as earth-shattering or amazing or effective or beneficial as people would hope it to be. But over time, it's going to get better and better. And I do think it is going to make a world of difference in terms of assisting people in helping them to identify the projects that make most sense to invest in. And I think I'm really excited to see how that all kind of unfolds and develops. But we are going to be integrating it certainly into every aspect. AI is a huge game-changing technology, and there's no reason why we can't leverage it for the purpose of trying to identify the next potential unicorn, 1000Xer, or what have you. As far as identifying anything that's undervalued, it's kind of an interesting time to ask that question. I think my answer would be, right now, everything's undervalued. Stocks, crypto, everything, because of this trade war that we're going through at the moment. And I think right now is one of the best times to identify things that you think are going to have the largest upside once the world gets back to normal. And it always does. Everybody's always in a panic over these things. But the reality is that eventually tensions die down, things go back to normal. And historically, things of value continue to go up in value. That's just the way of the world. So lots of opportunity. I can't really pinpoint one particular sector or another, because right now everything's at fire.
Okay. Do you remember the first day of filming in KL when Bitcoin crashed and all of you were taking out your laptops at the studio and trading?
Yeah.
The first day, right? We were like, okay, let's do this. And Bitcoin crashed. We're filming CryptoKnights. And it's so funny, right? Because all of the stuff was in the back room before outside the studio, and they were all on their laptops trading. I think it was from DN was doing it, and I remember it was you as well, Ben. Was it you?
Yeah, I might have thrown in a couple of longs there on Ethereum. I think by the end of the week, I had earned my flights back, and a few meals as well. So
nice. Right. All right. I've got one last question, guys, related to marketing and promoting. Okay. Specifically, how you plan to showcase your value and how you're going to do it together with the show, together with CryptoKnights. Are you planning joint campaigns and features? What are we planning to do together to promote your product?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a myriad of things that we're doing to try to ramp up for this. Again, I think there's a huge opportunity with retail, right? There's certainly a market for Web3 traders that are native, and they know things like, some of our competitors, and it's a bit of a challenge. People are creatures of habit, and so trying to peel them those things can be a bit challenging. And I think there's a huge opportunity for us to onboard new people who aren't familiar with any of these tools, but want the opportunity to identify new and emerging projects and kind of be at the beginning of something rather than at the end of it. And so that's a big initiative for us. And I think that we're going to be doing a lot together, certainly going to be at the events in Dubai with you guys. We'll work on some stuff for the Bitcoin conference in Vegas. I think there's going to be some good and interesting opportunities there. And I know that we've been talking a bunch, Joseph, in terms of integrating some of our two worlds together in the form of different pieces of technology and having some of the CryptoKnights universe live on DYOR's website. And I think there's be a lot of opportunity for that down the line.
Right. All right, cool. Definitely looking forward to seeing you in Dubai. Everyone, our events on 28th. We're going to share more information. Definitely we'll see Ben there. Do swing by. And like I said, we'll have the announcement of the streaming partner just before that. And we're targeting a release date for the show in end of May. But like what Riyadh said earlier, It depends on the partners and the stakeholders. We're going to push as hard as we can for that date. We really want to tie it in with Bitcoin Vegas. And Ben, I think we would really love to. If you have like a video recording of how to use your platform, do share with us. I think our mods will share it in our groups to our community. Just like a video walkthrough, like about the features. I think that will be interesting because when you talked earlier, there's so many features where I myself I use your platform, but I didn't know there were so many features that things that you were mentioning. I didn't even know there were things like that. So I think both our projects need to go out a little bit more and expose a little bit more and share a little bit more. So looking forward to that. Riaz, any last questions?
No, look, I've really enjoyed the conversation today, Ben. Thank you so much for joining us. What you guys are building is amazing. I'm definitely a fan, and I think what we're doing together in helping bring more Web2 communities into Web3, I think DYOR will be key to that, because these guys don't know much about crypto, and I think giving them authentic information, research tools at the fingertips would be amazing. And for those of you that don't know, each of the projects that's featured on the show has its own QR code so that we can actually drive engagement back to the project as well when audiences are watching. And that's how we're going to onboard the next billion people from Web 2 into Web 3. That's our goal. And, this is part of that journey. So thanks, Ben, for joining us today. And yeah, I'll see you in Dubai.
My pleasure, and likewise. Real fun talking to you guys today, and looking forward to seeing you in Dubai. And yeah, go check out if for anybody who's curious about what we're building, go check out DYOR.com. Hop into our Telegram. It's DYOR.com, all spelled out, so DOTCOM. And that's our same Twitter handle as well. And join us, be a part of the community, be a part of this journey with us, help us build this together, and help us support all of the amazing projects that are being created in the space, including, RightStream and CryptoKnights. It's all kind of coming together, and it's a really, really exciting time to be a part of all this. So strongly encourage you guys to get in the fight with us.
Awesome.
Beautiful thing. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
Ben.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Bye.